there BookTube, it's Janet and today I've got my August wrap up. And the Shelf Slam theme for this month was to read books that started with an E, a B or a J, which is the start of our names for Eleanor, Brittany and Janet, so I'll just show you what I read. First of all, for B, I read The Blackeyed Susans by Julia Herbelin. And this is a thriller. It's set in America, and basically it follows the story through the victim of an abduction, and she finds herself in a pit of bodies, and she's a survivor of this sort of serial killer person's heinous crimes. And obviously she's got quite an element of PTSD. Quite a few years have elapsed actually since the incident, and she's still struggling with it. She's still afraid. She's still feeling that the person that did this to her is at large. But even though it all starts to get dragged up again, because the man that they arrested and convicted of these crimes was actually about to face the death penalty, and his lawyers are trying to work with the victim to sort of see if there's any way that they can get him, if not released, at least delay his execution while they look into it further. And she's also quite convinced herself that he isn't the one behind it, because there's been a few instances since his incarceration has led her to believe that he's still at large. It was okay. I expected a bit more from it. It was a good solid 3-star thriller for me, but I found at times it was a little bit ploddy, not quite as fast paced as I usually like my thrillers to be. That was one of my B reads. My other B read was Bloodstain Volume 2 by Linda Sejic. And I love this graphic novel series. I read the first one and it was a 5-star read for me, and I know some people have read this volume too and they're sort of thinking, oh come on, move the story on, but I'm just loving all the scene setting. Basically it's quite tropey in that the person on the front, and I can't remember her name, Elliot, known as Ellie, she's a chemistry graduate who really struggles to get a job. She's pretty useless at everything, and as a last resort she answers this mysterious ad to be the lab assistant of this mad professor, Dr. Vlad Stein. And so she gets transported off to his, what we think is his lair, and it's more that her imagination has pinned everything together to make it sort of, she's sort of expecting it to be weird and terrible, and so she's on high alert all the time, and a lot of the myths get debusted as she goes along. But I'm loving where it's going with it. I just really like it. I love the artwork in it. There's a picture of Dr. Vlad having his breakfast, and it's just fun. It's just something completely different, and yeah, really enjoyable. So can't wait for volume 3. So they were my 2 B's. My E's, I read Excellent Women by Barbara Pym. This is the second Barbara Pym book that I've read, and I really enjoyed this. The one I read previously was Some Tame Gazelle. I like that one a bit better, but I know this one's quite one of the more well-known ones. Barbara Pym writes characters perfectly, the English middle classes perfectly. She has an acerbic wit when you read. It's very subtle, but you completely know she cuts like a knife through to the ridiculousness sometimes of how people can behave and the silly rules and regulations that they set around them. The main character in this is a woman called Mildred Lathbury. Now, her name is Mildred, and excellent women are those women of the parish, those spinsters who everybody regards as, you know, excellent, helpful woman. Yes, you know, not marriageable, but an excellent, helpful woman. And she's very involved with the vicar and the parish, and there's lots of jumble sales and lots of tea in it. And then she has more neighbours that move into the apartment block that she's living in, who are very, very different, very bohemian, very creative. The woman of the family is an anthropologist, and the husband, Rockingham Napier, is an artist, and there's some marital problems, and it's just fabulous, and it ends exactly how you want it to end, and Barbara Pym is just wonderful, so I'd definitely be reading more of Barbara Pym. So that was my first E. Now my second E is going to have to be my J as well. I've been a bit slumpy lately, so I haven't done much reading, but my second E is Emma by Jane Austen, so I'm going to take the J from Jane for the J. And this is the final Jane Austen book for me. I've read all the others and I've been putting Emma off for so long because I know that now that it's read, that was it. That was the end of all the Jane Austens. I've never got that first time experience again. It lived up to all expectations. It's up there with Pride and Prejudice for me and Persuasion as my favourite Jane Austens. I love the characters in it. I love how flawed Emma is. I love how she's much more honest a character than you sometimes get in a lot of the books of this period, where she is flawed and she does make mistakes and she can be nasty and bitchy at times, but also, you know, she's got a good, loving, warm side to her. So yeah, I'm sure everybody knows the story of Emma. If you don't, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I absolutely loved it. It's my last Jane Austen. But yeah, brilliant, absolutely. And obviously I had the pleasure of reading it in this beautiful Penguin English Library edition, which has got that, some of them don't have this, but that, you know, that like almost gooey kind of jelly kind of squidgy cover to it. Yeah, fabulous. So that's basically it. Not read a lot, bit slumpy, but hoping that I'm coming out of that now. So that was it for my August reads. So let me know how you've been getting on, and I will see you all soon. Keep reading. Bye.